Don't listen to the gateway tapes. Wait, why? Why should we not listen to the gateway tapes?
Hi, my name's Alex. I attended the Gifted and Talented program in the 90s, and today I want to talk about the gateway tapes. Not only my personal experience with them, but why I stopped.
She was in the gate. She was in the, you know, when everyone's like, yeah, I was a genius. I was in the Bill Gates thing when I was a kid. So was this bitch.
Listening, and I wanted to share information I found directly on the CIA's
Gifted.
website, as well as get into military technology and patents that are being used on targeted individuals, and how sounds, frequencies, and microwaves can affect our
targeted individuals.
programming.
Dude, my freaking.
So if you've ever felt a little off by the gateway tapes, you're definitely going to want to make it to the end of this video. I even took notes so I don't forget what I looked up earlier, and it may even blow your mind. So first, let's share some personal experience. The whole reason that I ended up going down this gate program rabbit hole in the first place is because I heard gateway tapes audio on somebody else's gate video a couple of months ago, and I haven't slept right since. That's actually a lie, but I didn't sleep right for the first couple of weeks because that sound did something to me when I heard it for the first time. And to be honest with you guys, I hadn't thought about the Gifted and Talented program for close to 30 years.
They're like 8 or 9 hours of tapes. What fucking sound? There's not one sound in it. Dumbass bitch.
Okay, because I'm 37 now, and
the monk chants. Yeah, the chants. Oh.
The program.
The seaside noises made it so hard to sleep.
It probably would have been when I was 7. So yeah, about 30 years. And I heard some girl's video about the gateway tapes, and then
I love the gateway tapes.
Some audio from the gateway tapes, and I had this feeling come over my body, just like creepy. And then I started to get this feeling like something was done to me. I started to feel really icky about my whole gate experience, which is odd because, like I said, I hadn't thought about it in so long. But then out of nowhere, I started remembering all these things that happened to me in my childhood. I have a whole video on it that actually went semi-viral for my little tiny channel. It was actually the first video I made on the GATE program talking about my experience. But I was talking about astral traveling, how I used to have very vivid dreams of flying that took place in my elementary school, where I was taking off the ground and flying up there like an airplane. I remember E.T. experiences when I was younger, like specifically a dream where they came to my house and they were outside of my backyard and I was just standing there paralyzed.
The GAPE experience.
And then I remember I have vivid memories of sleepwalking. And the odd thing about that is that the vivid memories that I have happened during kindergarten. That was the first time they happened, when I was in the GATE program for the first time. And I would often wake up in the middle of my steps, and in my house we had this huge open window. So it wasn't like the first floor was like 2 floors, right? The floor wasn't separating floor 1 from floor 2. So the staircase went down, you could see the whole window outside. And part of me thinks that something was being beamed to me, or I was being activated in some way. Why was I always looking up at the sky? Why did I always wake up on the steps when I was sleepwalking? And why did I always wake up in a bathtub? Isn't water a conductor for electricity? Maybe it was enhancing something that was happening to me internally. But also, what was that feeling that I got when I initially listened to the gateway tapes for the first time? I know I'm not the only one that had that weird experience listening to it. And this information that I found,
I remember specifically the teachers being very, very keen on teaching us how to draw stars in the form of a pentacle. Also, pentacle? Oh, yeah. That's what they were teaching you in the fucking GATE program. They were teaching you. Yeah, I can teach you that right now. That's called, you draw a star like this. You write an A. Wow, yep. Yeah, that was pretty, I remember a girl taught me that in like, I don't know, 3rd grade or something. Pretty advanced stuff, it's true. Scary. Geniuses.
Erreur alert.
Also, I happen to be very gifted in drawing. I can't believe what I'm remembering and hearing now. So many worthwhile questions you were asking. I had an ear operation for grommets when I was a young child. I did meditation tapes with tones when I was a child. I've been involved with a lot of these kinds of things you were mentioning. I always wash my food regardless of where it comes from. It's crazy how much stuff. Looking into the presence process, there's nothing else but you and your breath. I am a sound healer and also followed Kalantic science and Christaic teachings. Dude, these women are so retarded.
Out directly on the CIA's website in a declassified article that was released in 1983, which I want to read some quotes from. This really
CIA article
makes me feel eerie.
For the internal CIA magazine.
Kind of confirms that initial weird feeling that I had. But before I read these, actually, let me backtrack for a second and say that when I did
now she's
first hear
backpedaling.
that audio, there's a part of me that was like, maybe if I listen to the Gateway tapes, I will have some flashbacks, because I also had this phenomenon of forgetting everything that happened to me. I really don't remember anything that I did in the Gateway program or in the GATE program.
Everyone right now. Close your eyes, okay? Put your 3 fingers above your head. Before you close your eyes, just look at where I'm doing this, okay? Everyone? Close your eyes, go like this. And then close your eyes. And then imagine, what did your 3rd grade classroom look like? Apply some pressure to your forehead and start thinking about what your 3rd grade classroom looked like. Imagine you're looking around. You're picturing it. You're remembering where you put your backpack. You're remembering where the sink was, where the windows were, where your teacher's desk was. Now imagine what's on the walls. Think about a specific memory there. I swear that really works. That really unironically will make you remember things and help you walk through them. It's crazy. It's weird.
I remember my teacher, and that's about it. I've had very weird, random memories. I don't really remember the pink drink other than what I drank from my dentist's office, which very well could have been connected to the school. But I also vaguely remember guessing things that were in a box or guessing how many marbles.
If you do that more and more and you think about stuff, you'll remember what was on the walls, Kokichi. You'll remember. You'll start picturing it. True. You start walking through a memory too. It's easier if you can think of a specific memory and then start recalling what happened after it. 3rd grade's pretty far, but now do something for 6, 7 years ago. 6, maybe 7 years ago. Maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
I'm not sure if that was GATE program or if that
I remembered everything, Jimbo. Not even trolling. It's true. That's not a joke. It really does. Especially if you do it at night while you're laying down. If you're laying down, especially if you're listening to the GATE tapes. You got to listen to the Gateway tapes so an alien can come abduct you and take you and shove things in your ass. I have an eidetic memory, so I am cheating. Okay.
Was what we were doing in class. I remember building new societies and governments in my social studies class, but again, I don't know if that was GATE related or just elementary.
Is it a hot alien? Yeah, it's a pretty good looking gray.
I do remember vaguely nap time, but again, it's very foggy, and I don't.
The Pleiadians will only abduct you to fix things for you. So if a Pleiadian abducts you, you're in good hands. But if it's a gray alien clone, not one of the original grays from the original species, but the gray aliens that were cloned by the reptilians from Alpha Draconis, then you're in trouble.
I don't know if these are real memories or if this is some kind of.
But there's 6,000 of the original grays trapped inside the Earth.
Hive mind thing, because when people comment on my channel, every so often somebody will comment a memory they've had, and then something goes off inside of me. Where
if it's a mantis, you're gonna have sex with it. It's gonna look sexy, but then it's gonna be a mantis.
I don't necessarily have a vivid recollection of it either. So I find that very interesting, because I do remember a lot of other things that happened in my childhood. I remember birthday parties,
pussy got me acting different.
But why don't I remember the gifted program, especially if I was in it for the whole duration of my youth between the ages of 7 and 12. And then I went on to AP and accelerated classes in junior high and high school. So when I first started listening to those tapes again in my adulthood a couple of months ago, I listened to them consistently for a couple of weeks, not in order. Well, the first week or so I started listening, I did listen in order. And then I got to about the 5th tape, and I started getting more intrigued about the remote viewing experience and the out-of-body stuff. And my honest feeling about the gateway tapes was, I know that when you listen to the gateway process, you're supposed to go through the tapes, and maybe you're supposed to stick to one for a couple weeks before you move on to the second one.
Rooney says, I remember that one time I fucked up, didn't fuck the thick girl next door when I was in college. I let her in because her roommate locked her out, and she was giggling at my jokes. Man, I should have at least asked for her number, says Rooney. Yeah, be warned. Well, the things you remember might be painful. You know, the things you remember that you recall. But it's important to recall everything and accept it and get over it.
But my personality is just kind of like, well, I'm going to fly through it, especially since I consider myself an advanced meditator because I've been meditating consistently since 2017. And I trained myself to be able to do it for like hours at a time. And I spent a large chunk of my life just zenning out. And I always rely on meditation when I'm feeling off. So, and I don't listen to guided meditation tapes. Sometimes I'll listen to tuning forks and stuff like that. But when I started meditating, I didn't listen to any audio because I wanted to raw dog it, if you will, right? And I wanted to do it as Creator, I believe, intended us to do it without needing to rely on anything external. And that's not to say that other things can't enhance your practice, but I wanted to know what it felt like to sit with myself. And I challenged myself to sit alone with myself, as uncomfortable as it was, and as much as I wasn't used to it, and as much as it scared me. I was like,
really hard stuff. Yeah.
This, I have to.
I like when people talk about that. People talk about sitting down, closing your eyes, and like just thinking. They're like, it's really fucking hard. It's really difficult.
Push through the
Greatest creator.
So I did that. So anyways, that's part of the reason why I skipped past and flipped through the tapes.
This bitch is totally sane.
But I had some weird experiences when I listened to them. First of all, when I listened to the ocean technology and the Hemi-Sync technology, I was like, wow, this is so relaxing. And it put me to sleep almost immediately. Like, not full sleep, but it put me in that trance state. And
that's
one of the reasons
whole
I kept
point.
listening to it is because it was so relaxing on my body. And
that's the whole...
when things got interesting, it was...
Does she think it's called the GATE? It's called the GATE program because it's associated with like Bill Gates or something, isn't it? And then it's the Gateway. The Gateway tapes have nothing to do with that, you fucking idiot. Just because they're both... The Gateway is because it's supposed to be like a gateway towards the fucking astral realm. Towards leaving your body. And it's putting you to sleep so that your body can fall asleep and you can train your mind to stay awake so that you can exit.
It was around the time that
she thought it was the GATE program.
I think it was like 5 lessons from your guides or something. It was something about connecting with your guides. It was either that episode or it was the one that was on remote viewing. I don't remember specifically, but it was odd because the way my intuition has always spoken to me has been usually when I'm in a deeply meditative state, and then... It's
an acronym, Jimbo, not Bill Gates? Oh, okay. Gifted, accelerated, something. What is GATE a acronym? Gifted and talented education. It has nothing to do with the... Oh shit, I just skipped. Fuck!
But when things gateway tape experiences, I heard in my head, like I remember, like
it's also not remote viewing.
The tapes is that I'll be zenned out for a while, and
it's
then
not remote viewing.
It kind of like jolts me awake. And when he did that, I started to see static. Like on a TV, but I saw it in my mind's eye. And then when I would hear him talk every so often after you were doing just like the allowing yourself to listen to it or whatever, I would have random flashes of insight. One of the things I heard in my head was they got away with it in Sector 7. And then I saw an image of 2 people in a white scientist jacket, and they were in a lab.
This bitch who's obsessed with like aliens starts lucid dreaming and immediately starts seeing shit related to aliens and Area 51.
Then disheveled. Oh, it looks like there's a fight. And then two people were laying on the ground. Somebody was in somebody's arms, and then the doctor stabbed that person in the temple with a knife. So I don't know if that was like a legit memory. I don't know if that was a past life experience. I don't know if that was something I saw in a movie when I was younger. I don't know, but it kind of freaked me out. And then when I looked up what the heck is Sector 7, it led me to the movie, I think it's called Bumblebee. It's one of the Terminator movies that I haven't seen personally, but I think they talk about Sector 7 there. So I'm kind of curious to watch it. And if anyone's watched it and like can make sense of the vision I saw, like, please let me know in the comments, because I didn't have time to watch that whole movie, but I'm very curious, and I might just watch it at some point, just out of pure curiosity. So the other thing that I saw too, which was a little bit disturbing, this is when I was doing the, I believe, the remote viewing exercise. My mind went blank for a while, and then deeper into the tapes, like maybe halfway through, or whenever my body was fully relaxed, I started seeing like a Google Maps version of flying over some land. I believe I saw, I can't remember now if it was a lot of trees or if this was more of a desert environment. I think I saw some green trees, but I was seeing it almost like a Google Maps, how you zoom in. So I wasn't in my body and I didn't see my body in this vision, but I was zooming down on something, and then I got to a super remote area, and then it took me inside a lab where I saw babies in giant test tubes at what
that's just dreaming. Now that just means that you are dreaming. Like the astral projection is like very similar and like very closely aligned to just dreaming, which is why it's important to like be taking everything, if you do it, like taking it with a grain of salt, where you're thinking like, okay, I am asleep, like my body is asleep, and it's going to be very similar. And if it is a dream, it's going to be like colored by the fact that I'm trying to astral project. It's going to be colored by the fact that I am thinking about that. So the dream could be like that. But, you know, it's like that's also why, I don't know, it's like good to like read about it, because usually the astral projection is very similar. Like how it goes and how it starts is very similar, where it's like people will initially really just like fall out of their bodies or like fly out of their bodies. And then we'll see themselves in their room, and they'll say it doesn't feel like a dream. Like when they really do it, when you finally actually do that, it's not like a dream. You feel like you are awake. Like that's the whole point, it's almost like, and they insinuate that a lot of them insinuate that they think that everyone does this every night, but when your mind isn't awake, you're not remembering it or recording it. And the astral projection is almost like making your waking conscious mind stay awake and not letting it fall asleep when it happens, right? So it's like you'll feel like you're totally awake. This is just a dream she's talking about.
Told me was a cloning facility. And again, who's to say if that's real, because I have no physical evidence to say where that even was or if that's even real, but I do have evidence that there's literally a cloning facility. I think it's in the Bahamas. I think it's called Clonaid. You can look that up yourself. And Clonaid. I've also seen videos from other remote viewers.
Write that down.
I haven't watched those videos, but I remember seeing a video on YouTube on one of those popular spiritual people.
I listened to the Gateway tapes 2 nights ago, got scared and turned it off. Why'd you get scared? Dude, how do you get scared from the Gateway tapes? They're so nice.
One of their, I forget what they're called or who had them on their channel, but somebody had a remote viewer on their channel. It keeps popping up on my YouTube feed, and it's like, remote viewer sees cloning facility or something about babies in test tubes. So I'm like, yikes, that's kind of a weird synchronicity that I saw it too. But I stopped listening to the Gateway tapes shortly after that, because I also started to feel a little like sometimes I'd be listening, my body would feel so relaxed. So that's why I wanted to do it, because it felt really good. But then I also had an eerie feeling sometimes listening to those sounds, especially when you were doing the resonant tuning.
Dude, it's not creepy. You gotta listen to other people talk about having astral projected. Then it's a lot less creepy, honestly. Although, okay, I say that, but you know how I said when you actually do it, they all talk about how there's like this, the most common thing is they either hear sort of like very loud popping sounds, or they hear very loud like like almost like a jet engine starting around them. It's like the shaking phase. Not that like your body's shaking, but just that like it feels like stuff around you's shaking or whatever. That can also manifest as hearing a bunch of people around you talking, not like schizophrenically, but like you're in a crowded area and it's like you can't really tell what anyone's saying, but it just sounds like a bunch of people are walking by you. Another thing that can happen sometimes is like you when you are, what's it called, when you get sleep paralysis. You're entering into a state of sleep paralysis, and that can sometimes manifest as shadow creatures. I have heard one time of someone experiencing a shadow creature like run up to them while they were in that phase, but it was like they could tell that it was like an amorous one, and it was like trying to mount them and like climb on their dick like while they were sleeping. Like, I'm so serious. Like they like it was like a sex one. And then they slipped out of their body anyway and it was like gone. It like disappeared.
It sounded very extraterrestrial, and it sounded like the humming of a spaceship. So
and they did.
Part of it freaked me out, and then I think also I just kind of like lost whatever purpose I thought they were giving me at the time. I stopped because I feel like I have more vivid, even though my body felt very good to the Hemi-Sync stuff, I feel like I have better visualizations and they feel more accurate and true to me on a spiritual perspective when I'm just zoning out, tuning into myself and my immediate environment and not listening to anything
you're
that
retarded.
I'm syncing myself to, which is
you're
going
an
to get me
idiot.
into these quotes. So let me read you some quotes from this article. And it's titled Analysis and Assessment of the Gateway Process, 1983, directly from a declassified CIA report. Fundamentally, the gateway experience is a training system designed
Jimmy,
to
can you make your VR headset into a light and sound machine? You definitely could, yeah.
bring enhanced strength, focus, and coherence.
If you're laying down with a VR headset, they're not uncomfortable. Like if you're laying down with one, you can wear it forever. Unless you get motion sickness, but you won't, but actually you don't really get motion sickness if you're laying down. Like it's pretty hard to.
To the amplitude and frequency of brainwave output between the left and right hemispheres so as to alter consciousness, moving it outside the physical sphere so as not to ultimately escape even the restrictions of time and space. So as to ultimately escape even the restrictions of time and space. Let's pause for a second. That means they could have been studying, they was syncing our brainwaves. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me just read all these quotes. Then it will make more sense what I'm about to say. Okay, so my second quote. To achieve synchronized...
Dude, this is just what like goofballs... Dude, this picture, that's a perfect freeze. This is just what goofballs were writing, and the CIA that were studying it were like putting in their notes. Like they were just like, that's why the gateway thing and the CIA, like the CIA did this, blah, 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 blah. With like the remote viewing and everything is so retarded. It's like, it's a report by CIA analysts that are studying like this idea, recording like things that other people had said. And it's not like them saying it's true. It's not them saying it's working. It's like, it's them saying that, well, here's the lead, similar to what we're talking about.
We don't disrespect or send $10, Spoopy.
So what am I hearing in sleep paralysis when I hear voices and loud noises? A lot of it's just your brain. A lot of it, even in the astral projection thing where the people, you know, believe that there are external forces and like, obviously you're entering some other thing. Even then, even with those people that aren't atheistic, they pretty much say a huge part of the astral realm, especially on like the parts that you sort of initially leave into, are they're like projection based. So it's like you projecting a lot of your environment around you. And like a lot of the people that they'll even see while they're astral projecting won't be real. It'll be like kind of Matrix style, like their projections, in the same way like it is a dream. But they say that they can really tell when it's clearly not. Like you can also, you're very acutely aware when you're not looking at a projection. When you're not looking at sort of a background character. And there's like stages to it where people will learn to like be able to walk through walls and things. But it's like a mental barrier. Too many Mexicans for a good astral projection. When she's squirting, you keep licking. What? I'm trying to get my nan up so I enter the heavens arena and fight Hisoka. See, yeah, that's the kind of shit. That is like a real thing, though. That's like why I'm trying to want to astral project is legit. There's like... everyone that talks about this stuff alludes to there being like more and more powerful, like ascended masters, and you know they start using language like this, and it's like, and then also like bad versions of them, like a lot of sort of angry, bad spirits. Dude, what if you just go fight them? What if you're like, you know, what if you're training your astral abilities to be able to like combat them like Neo? Sounds like the Matrix. It starts sounding like the Matrix. Sticks, yeah. True. Your ops. Well, a lot of them say you can see your family members who are alive in the astral realm, and the people who are like really good at astral projecting say that they will, like they've seen them, and then said like, what, you're here, like you can astral project, you know how to do that, or like, are you really here right now? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, okay, so are you gonna remember this when you wake up? And the family member was like, I don't think so. I don't know, I don't think I remember these things. And then like they were asking him the next day, and this is a family member that doesn't know how to, like they're not able to do that. And I've heard stories where it's like, again, and like this is where, you know, you're taking it with a grain of salt because it's people saying this stuff, and this is not even the gateway people. These are like offshoot people that are like experts on it. But they were saying that their family members, like they would ask them things about them, like when they saw them, like so that they can like verify it, like something they don't know yet. Ask the family member to tell them something about them or whatever that they can, like, you know, ask them in the waking world, and it was like they did, it was true, whatever they said was true when he woke up. Anyway,
Synchronization of brain hemispheres. The Hemi-Sync technique takes advantage of a phenomenon known as the frequency following response. If a subject hears sound, the brain will try to mimic the same frequency pattern by adjusting its brainwave output. That, for some reason, is giving me Batman Forever vibes. Remember the Riddler, where he has that brainwave device and he has people watch the TV, and then, or he puts the thing on their head and then they feel like...
Dude, the best evidence that the GATE program is just so retarded and bullshit is that every GATE student, every student that was in the GATE program, literally just this.
Like they're watching TV, but he's sucking out all their brainwaves from whatever frequency they're emitting by using this device. My third quote: the human mind in its natural state may be likened to an ordinary lamp. On the other hand, the human mind, under the discipline of Hemi-Sync, acts after the fashion of a laser beam, which produces a disciplined stream of light. The first thing that came to mind when I read that was loosh. Are we being used as loosh? Is it training us in a brainwave frequency so we can be used as loosh? The other thing, all three of these quotes kind of stirred up a question in me. Are we being studied outside of time and space? I'm also getting Montauk Point vibes. The ET technology they supposedly were using there or discovered there when they were opening portals. Are they taking all of the streams of consciousness from gifted kids, gateway kids, and they're channeling it to something? Are they channeling it? Ooh, my God, I'm sorry. I just got electrical chills in my body. Oh, sorry, that was electrical when I was, oh my God. Are they using all of our brainwaves to open a portal? Holy crap, dude, I have crazy chills right now. I was not expecting that.
There's
wow.
no way, dude.
Okay.
There's no way.
Wow. I think I just blew my own mind. Okay, so were we being used to open a portal? All right.
To outside time
Now,
and space
let's
where they're
see, what
studying
else? CIA
us.
was researching
You felt it
consciousness
too?
outside of space and time. So it's also making me think back to MK Ultra.
Oh fuck! I just came.
Montauk Point. And it's making me think of alien abductions. Why did so many of us have experience with ETs?
She's
or
opening her
alien
portal.
abduction experiences. At the time,
Yep,
we were
she's
in
coming.
the GATE program listening to the Gateway tapes. If you have those experiences, please leave it in the comments. Let's get to the bottom of this together. All right, so the other implications that come from this article are that the Gateway tape or the Gateway process.
Dude,
is
wait, they have a way
deliberate-
sexier version of this video.
The CIA invested millions of dollars into studying mind control, meditation, and whether human consciousness
Why
could
are we
actually
watching that
bend
one?
reality. The short answer is yes. It proves that your energy is the most powerful thing in the world. However, this research did not go the way the CIA had intended. They were trying to create spies with psychic abilities, but instead, they uncovered a system for how regular people can change their lives by expanding.
That's not a CIA document. Dude, these are, this is, they just copied the Monroe Institute file into the CIA records.
Their consciousness, reprogramming their reality, and unlocking new levels of human potential. By the way, the CIA didn't create this,
wait a
but they
second.
invested millions of dollars, and this was in the 70s.
They didn't invest millions of dollars in it.
And 80s because it was that valuable. Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So we believe in subliminals, affirmations, healing frequencies, or even Joe Dispenza's teachings to tap into the subconscious. All these ideas come out of the research from the Gateway tapes. Whenever I'm done listening to these tapes, I literally feel like a born-again baby who just took the pill from the movie Limitless. Where you're like, May, how can listening to a few tapes change your life? Well, I'm a completely different person.
Makes me come. Okay.